All right, so let's take a closer look at the Neptune 3 Pro. So starting here on top, we have our spool holder where the spool will go and then feed through the filament detector and then out of there down to the direct drive extruder. So I like how the filament detector has brass inserts. It won't wear out. Nice detail there. So the top portion here with this logo is a plastic injected part, but we do have metal brackets here for the lead screws with bearings in them and also the belt there. And that does sandwich all together here to the aluminum frame, which has these pretty interesting design elements on it that says create the future. Looks pretty good and quite unique. So flipping around to the back, you guys can see where we mounted our spool holder there, the synchronized belt between the two leads, our wires here that come out, one's for the filament detector there, and the other wiring is actually for some LED lights there underneath, which could be quite helpful as they can glow down onto the workspace. So all the frame pieces are metal all around. That's nice to see. Got the brass bushings there. Same thing here on both sides. This is where we put in our little wire clip holder. We got the X-axis motor and it plugs there underneath, and our X-axis in-stop switch on this side. And going down from there, you guys can see our coupler, the Z-axis motor, same thing on both sides. But if we look over here, we can see there's a little cap there with wires coming out the bottom when we plug them in here, and that's the filament detector and the light, which traveled through here all the way up and come out right there. So looking at the back of the Hotend, you guys saw we have 4 rollers, 2 stationary and then 2 adjustable underneath. And we can kind of see some of the components here. We have the heat break over there, the heat block. It does have a silicone sock on it. And then our little tip there where the filament comes out. We do have a dual cooling fan on each side that blows underneath. We'll look at the front side here in a second. But yeah, going down, we can see the Y-axis channel. It's actually a pretty nice clean channel, and it's also really wide, which gives the bed more stability. And this is our Y-axis in-stop switch, the Y-axis motor, and the belt here that travels through the channel. So at the back of the bed, we have strain relief for the wiring that runs into the back of the printer, and there's a few more wires coming out here. What's interesting is we have another plug here that's kind of covered up that says DC output 24 volts, 2.5 amps, which is interesting. I wonder if there's some kind of accessory to this printer that uses that. And if we go to this side, we can see here, this is where our power port is, and it is fused with an on and off switch here on the side. I like how they use this clip here to run the cable that goes all the way to the Hotend. So going back over here, right underneath the Y-axis in-stop switch, we have the selector for the voltage. And this is quite important that you set this to the correct voltage. So depending on where you live, you're gonna have 115 or 230. So in the US, we have 115, but a lot of the Europe uses 230. So I'm gonna grab the flat screwdriver and switch that to 115. So yeah, make sure you check that before you power the printer on. All right, so going back to the front, let's take a closer look at the direct drive Hotend extruder here. So it is quite deep, or wide, I guess, however you want to look at it, but it does poke out quite a bit. So there is a brass insert there for the feed, which is nice. All of this is plastic, including this cover. We have the 2 fans on each side for the parts cooling. There's a nice little Elegoo logo and some venting here up front, and this is kind of what it looks like. So I went ahead and took out 2 little bolts there on each side, and this thing should just come right off, which it does. And we can see the 2 axial fans. And then we have another large fan here underneath, and that's for the heat break, which is all in there somewhere. And on top of that, we got the direct drive motor for the extruder with the gear here. So yeah, and there's also a junction board on the back. And another thing that's quite interesting is we have a sensor here, and that appears to be leveling sensor, or the Z-axis switch, and it looks to be like a capacitive optical style, not an actual mechanical probe. So that'll be interesting to see how well that works. If you guys can see that little bolt right there, that hole, this is where you adjust the tension on how much pressure there is on the extruder gear. And if we slide this back on, you guys can see that it's still accessible through the cover. So yeah. So here on the X-axis, we have the belt adjuster on this side, and on this other side, we have the in-stop switch. So again, everything's covered up. It does look like there's a couple bolts that you can take off, get this cover off if you want to see how the gear lines up with the belt. And actually, it looks like here too, there's a couple bolts that might pop this off. So, but I wish that maybe they made a cutout where we can see, you know, if it does line up or not. But in any case, it does look nice and clean. And so going down from there, we have our bed, which is a 225 by 225 by 280 tall is the build volume, which is quite respectable for this medium format. And I love this PEI sheet. These things are great. They last forever and they're easy to use. And it is a steel sheet that flexes easy. So it's very effortless to print on it and pop the prints off. And you guys can see the magnetic sheet underneath. Let's go ahead and put that back on. So we got the PEI, the magnetic, and then we got the aluminum heated bed, which by the way is not insulated, which is not a big deal for this size. We got the frame there, nice and thick. The two rollers here, you guys can see the adjustable eccentric nuts and the two stationary on the other side. And then over here on the very front, we got the adjustment for the Y belt. Again, we can't see the pulley or anything from any direction, so I wish they would have made a little cutout here so we can see if we're running true or not. And another thing I'm noticing is that this printer does not have any kind of storage anywhere, so it would have been nice if they would have made some kind of storage, even a small one. But this one doesn't have it, which technically not a big deal, but it would have been nice to have one. So on the top here, we have the manufacturing label. We can see the name of the printer, the build volume, the machine size, the power it takes, 300 watts. And we got the weight of the printer at 8 kilograms. So going below here, you guys can see we have that USB port to connect from the printer to the computer. Then we have our micro SD card slot there. That's how we can bring in our files. And then over here we have the plug for the cord on the screen, which sits really nicely. And again, it comes off. It's magnetic. And we do have a sticker or a protective layer here that we need to pull off. That also reminds us to check our voltage. So overall, pretty nice screen. A little heavy on the bezels and the size, but pretty nice overall. And sits really cleanly here to the side. So not much going past here. We do have these nice large rubber squishy feet on 4 corners and clean on this side, and everything tucked away really nicely, and the wire management here looks really good. So yeah, overall looks like a pretty solid printer. So for the next part, let's go ahead and plug it in, turn it on, home the printer, make sure all the motors and switches work. Also we'll preheat it and level the bed. All right, so I went ahead and plugged it in. Let's go ahead and hit that power button. And it does power up really quick. It says booting with the Elegoo logo. You guys can see, hopefully. All right, there it goes. So it took a little bit there to start. I don't know if it's a little bright or not. Maybe if I hold it to the side. But the screen is blue, as you guys can see. It's a pretty nice font. Good resolution. Easy to read. So we can see on the top there it says Neptune 3 Pro. And we have print, prepare, settings, and level. And on the bottom there we have the Hotend temperature and the bed temperature. So let's click on prepare, and it does beep when you click on it. And down here we can see we're on move. We got temperature and extruder. So under move there's a all button here right in the middle, home. So I'm gonna go ahead and click that, and it should home. And we can see the X and the Y is working perfectly. And now the Z. All right, also stops just at the right spot. So that's good to see. So let's go ahead and click on temp. And here it looks like you can preheat it manually, or click on one of these hot buttons, which we have PLA, ABS, PTG, and TPU. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on PLA. Sure enough, it's gonna go to 200 on the nozzle and 50 on the bed. So let's do a little hotter. Click on ABS. And that's going to be 240 and 80, a little too hot, maybe PTG. 220 on the nozzle and 60 on the bed. And I do hear some fans that kicked on in the hot end. Maybe you guys can see there, it's preheating pretty quick. So it looks like everything is working, which is a great sign. And the last button here, we have extruder, which lets us control to load and unload. So because this is a direct drive, it's quite easy just to do it yourself here right on the top. But for the next part, what we need to do, let's go back here to the main menu, and we need to level the bed. And I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but we don't have any kind of knobs underneath the bed. So the bed is kind of pre-leveled, and we don't have to mess with that at all. All we got to do is the automatic bed leveling. And that's this level button here. So let's go ahead and click it. And so it's saying something about resetting to 0 action. So we're just going to confirm, and let's see what it does. All right, so it appears that it was already auto-leveled from before, and it has all of its coordinates there. If you want to redo this part, you can, or you can just leave it the way it is. I do believe this button here will probably redo all of the measuring, so let's go ahead and try that. And then it says calibrate the bed. We're going to say confirm. So now it's going to do a calibration by measuring the whole bed across. So it does appear that they pre-calibrated from the factory, but you know, if yours is not, it's not very hard to just recalibrate it, or if you need to recalibrate it. And as it's doing that, you guys can see it's highlighting the numbers that it's done already. So we got 6 across and 6 deep, so that's quite a few points that it takes. Alright, and that is all of the points. Now on the screen, it's asking us to make sure that the nozzle is not too high or too low, and we can adjust that in the Z-axis offset. So we're just going to click on confirm there. And now we go back to that same menu we saw from the beginning, and we can see all of our offsets, and they did look like they changed quite a bit actually, or at least what I'm noticing. So it might be good to rerun your calibration anyways. What we're going to do now is we're going to adjust the offset. It's at -0.4 right now, and we got up and down here where we can adjust that. So you're going to need some kind of piece of paper, or I'm going to just use the sticky note. And what we're going to do is go between the nozzle and the bed. We're way too loose right now, so it's too high off. So we're going to bring it down. And you can choose the increments there. So as you get closer, you can go to 0.01. Yeah, I'm just going to continue to go down until we get close, which we are close now. So I'm going to switch to the 0.01 and go down slower from there. And yeah, because my Post-it note here is quite thin, I think I'm good right there. So I'm going to leave a decent gap. But yeah, you just want a slight drag. If you have a thicker paper, obviously you want more drag. But if you have something thin like this sticky note I have, you want very slight drag. But yeah, all we're doing here is setting the nozzle gap between the bed. And so mine ended up being -1.22. And once you set that, you're pretty much done with the bed leveling. So we can just go back. And that's going to save it into the printer, and you guys can see it's moving actually, which is great because for the next part, we can go ahead and put our filament in. And I'm just going to use this roll that I have, and we're going to grab our snippers and cut it on an angle. So it's much easier to feed it in. And looking at the top here, put the spool on the spool holder, and then run our filament through the detector. And there's a little blue light there that glows up, and then down into the extruder. And so this knob here releases the arm where we can feed it in. And so we can just manually push it right down through there until we can see it purge out the bottom. You can use in the prepare the extruder button here and have a certain amount at a certain speed purge, but it's much easier just to push it through yourself and a lot quicker. But yeah, we are pretty much done with leveling and putting our filament through. Let's go ahead and see if we have anything on this SD card, which by the way is an 8 gig, and it plugs in right here upside down. So we're going to click on print, and sure enough we do have a file there. But before we do that, let's go back, and we already went through the prepare menu. You guys saw everything there. Our settings menu, we have some adjustments we can do. We got language, temperature settings, light control. So we do have that LED light that glows from the top. So let's go ahead and turn it on and see. Okay, so it is on. It's quite a bit brighter, and you guys can probably see right here it's glowing very nicely. For this video, I'm probably not going to be using it as it is a little too bright, and it will cast a shadow right underneath the nozzle, which is not going to help us. And the light is a little bit on the blue side, which I prefer more warmer light, but you do have this option if you want to use it. So I'm going to turn it off for now. So we also have fan control, motor off. So this releases the stepper motors. Filament detection. So since we have it, we should probably turn that on. We got factory settings, about the machine, and advanced settings. So the brightness of the LCD screen, actually that's pretty cool. We can turn that. Okay. All right guys, so I totally blacked myself out by accident. Now I have no idea what I'm clicking. So I'm going to try to restart this and see if it'll come back. It's crazy that they even give you the option to completely darken it out where you can't see anything. I hope that's not a problem. Okay, thank goodness it powers back up. So it's just for the time of that use case. So once you power it off, it resets it. Okay, so it does take about 5 to 10 seconds to load there. Not too long, but yeah, let's go back to the settings, advanced. So you can turn this down, which is nice, but be careful not to turn it down all the way. So we got the key sounds. So if you don't want it to beep, motor settings. So this is more advanced stuff here. Power loss recovery. That's cool that they have an option for that, because sometimes printers in spiralized mode need that off. Happy to see that they have that option. So yeah, quite a few adjustments here and options to have in the settings. So let's go ahead and start that print that was included, and it's asking us to confirm. And there it goes. So it started. So once it starts, we'll check out this menu here and what it has to offer. And look at that. We actually get a preview of what we're printing. So I guess it's a little Buddha thing. So hopefully our offsets and everything is still good. And we can probably adjust that as it prints if we click on settings and adjust here on this tab here. We can do the offset right on the fly. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that option open just in case we need to go up or down. And there it goes. So it kicked me out of that setting there. So far it looks good. We do have a little blob stuck to the okay, so it broke loose. Alright, well it's perfect actually. It doesn't need to go up or down, looks like. At least to what I can see. It's boogieing along. It looks like it's making a brim around the print, which helps it stick better. So let's go ahead and check out the menu here while it's printing. So this is what we see as the main menu as we start a print. And on the top it says printing, and it has the file name, the picture of the file, the percentage bar complete there, 1%. We got settings, pause, stop, and LED light, so you can turn it on and off here right on the fly. Very nice. So this is the time that passed. We got 3 minutes. The Z-axis position, 0.2. We got the nozzle temperature and the target. Same thing for the bed there. The speed, also the fan, which just turned on to full power. So if we click on settings, you guys can see we got 3 main tabs on the bottom. So we're on filament, and here we can adjust the nozzle temperature and the heat bed by choosing what you want. The temperatures here, we can also load and unload. We got speed settings. So we got print, flow, and fan. The print speed is 100, flow rate's 100, and fan at 255, which is the full speed. And then we have the Z offset, which we saw here. We can adjust that up and down. We also have the LED light control, power recovery mode, and filament detector here also. So yeah, all of your controls are here even while you're printing. Very cool. So yeah, I really like the layout. The screen looks really nice. So yeah, overall I'm really happy of how things are going with no hiccups, just printing straight out of the box. I'm gonna bring my microphone in so you guys can hear what the printer sounds like. All the fans are on, so it's actually on the quiet side considering that. And you can hear the motors a little bit when they're moving extra quick, but overall they're pretty much silent. So yeah, I would say this is definitely a quieter printer than normal. All right, so yeah, we're boogieing along and everything looks good. So I guess we're gonna let this print out and we'll see what it turns out like. Alright, so our first print is done and it took 1 hour and 9 minutes. So you can click return or print again. Click return and goes back to the main menu. So the bed is pretty much cooled off. Let's see how easy this print pops off. Of course, it does have a brim on it, which, well, it still came off pretty easy on the actual print, but the brim, well, it peeled off too. Look at that. So yeah, the PEI sheet obviously works well, and this is one of the best materials you can have for 3D printing. But yeah, with the brim pulled off the print, I can tell you guys right away that I am very impressed with it. The layers are sitting extremely even, and just look at those reflections. Very impressive. So this little print here was sliced very well, and the printer did an excellent job printing it out.